Number 1. This is a personal story of mine that me and my friends share with the people in my town. It starts at around 2 in the morning in a park by my friend's house. This wasn't too out of the ordinary for us, and tonight it was 3 other friends and I. We were sitting at a picnic table, sort of surrounded by lampposts, most of which we had to motion activate, but one which was always on. And because of the way we were sitting, if you looked at us from the road, you could only see me and one of my other friends. But we were just sitting there, talking about boys, life, politics, and whatever else, when we hear one of the loudest cars any of us had ever heard pull up onto the road about 30 feet or 10 meters or so away from us. This was unsettling to all of us. It was very uncommon for us to see other people up and about, even if we were in a suburban neighborhood. So, we were all absolutely silent as the driver's side door opened and no one came out. And now, might I add, that the car was more like a crappy custom truck car integration with a different paint job on the bed of the truck part than what it had on the front car part. But anyways, as the driver's door opened, there was a rustling in the bed of the truck. And when I heard that, I knew we had nowhere to run off to in the fenced park. I knew I might have to play a little fisticuffs with some strangers. But in reality, my 15-year-old tough girl self would have been dead if I hadn't triggered 2 motion-activated lights that shed some light on my friends. About a minute and a half after that happened, I heard the door close, and then they drove away. Now that my friends and I were significantly spooked, we had an opportunity for departure. We booked it down a road opposite on the route the car took. We kept following the road until we hit an intersection. We stopped. We had heard a loud car away down the road. My other 3 friends ducked around the corner of a house that we were near, and I stayed watch to see if the car was in fact the same, and if in fact it was coming back our way. Turns out it was, and it saw me. And what absolutely terrified me was that the car sped up. When it did this, I signalled to my friends and I dove into a nearby bush, and my friends ducked into various hiding spots, just as the piece of junk in all its glory sped around the corner. When we were sure the car was gone, we booked it back to the friend's house we were all staying at and stayed up all night out of paranoia. Unfortunately, this wasn't the end though. About a week later, at the same kid's house when we were just hanging out, we heard a car outside park on the road in front of the house. Me and another friend that happened to be there during the first event both confirmed that yes, it was in fact the same car. That was the last time we saw the car and those people, but we are still on the lookout for them. Number 2. One night we went to my boyfriend's mum's house. It was 25 miles from his house, and my boyfriend's house is 25 miles away from mine. It was late when I dropped him off. I still had a good drive to go. We live in the country, so I took this highway often regarded as a cursed highway because a lot of people have died on it. It's really curvy and has a 55 miles per hour speed limit. I was cruising at around 45 miles per hour because I have hit a deer on that road before. There was never any traffic usually. Police can't sit out there either because there are no pull-offs and there are no streetlights besides 2 churches on the highway. I came around a curve and there was this big beat up black truck going back and forth between 15 and 25 miles per hour. He looked like he was having a seizure. He put on his turning signal back and forth, trying to get me to back off him. He gave me the creeps. I said I had it and tried to pass him. He cut me off and reached for something, probably a gun. He stopped in the middle of the road and opened the door. I sped around him and he was on my tail. He tried to ram me off the road. He was literally swerving all over the road trying to pass me, but I wouldn't let him. He was blinding me with his lights and touching my bumper. My heart was racing. Next thing I knew, he ran off the road and I took a detour. I'm driving home and telling my brother about it. I came to where I would have pulled out of there if I kept on the highway. My heart pounded. He was in front of me now, but he didn't notice me. I took another detour and came home, and I couldn't sleep that night. I kept my shotgun next to me. I have never seen the truck again, and I will never go on that highway late at night again. Number 3. This happened when I was about 7 or 8 years old, and my family had just moved into a new house, only say 2 months prior to this happening. I didn't like this new house from the very beginning. It creeped me out. The house was way too big for my family. It was old, and it had old wood floors that creaked and groaned at night. On top of all of this, my sister and aunt, whom I was living with at the time, had both been talking about the house being haunted. But one night, I was woken up by my tummy rumbling. Had I eaten? I didn't remember. I looked towards my alarm clock and it displayed 4:10 or maybe 4:15, but regardless, I pulled myself out of bed to get a snack. I tiptoed out into the kitchen, crouched and opened the cabinet where the small packs of chips were when, bam! The nearby basement door flew open with force. I fell on the floor out of fear and then used the door frame to grab onto and flung myself away from the basement door. When I landed, I looked back and there was a ginormous man in all black with his face obscured by shadow from his hood. So I screamed and practically blew my aunt's door down, flying into bed with her to wake her up. When I did, she checked the whole house with her dad's rifle, but there was no one around. Number 4. I was once at a gas station with my mum. It was night and all she needed was gas. As we were waiting, 2 men walked up to our car with smiles and said, "Hey Sherry, open the door." As they said this, they were also trying to unlock the door. My mum did not open the door and they left soon after. The craziest thing was that she didn't even know them, or how they knew her name. Hello everyone, this is day 5 of Shaf-Tober. I hope you are still all watching and enjoying. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Also, leave a comment down below if you have any of your own experiences you'd like to share with me. As always, stay sinister.